Hello. I hope that I'm doing this correct. It's my first time I've ever done a video for YouTube. I'm tired of Canada. I really am. I'm 63 years old next month. I have never had a federal government affect my way of life except in little things. I've never said, well, I better, make sure that people vote this way or that way because we're heading for a tough time. But Trudeau really did nail us bad, especially over the last 4 years. And people don't see it. They don't. They literally don't see it. The ones that voted for Carney after Trudeau prorogued Parliament, they were blinded. Oh, I'm the guy to deal with Trump. I know what I'm doing. Well, did we not listen to the fact that two different prime ministers from England said that he was a disaster? They led them into Brexit and nearly bankrupted their economy when he was the chief officer of the Bank of England. And then he did the same thing in Canada. He just wasn't there long enough to complete his job. Then he served as the advisor to Trudeau. Trudeau nearly bankrupted us as it is. Freeland turned around and resigned, and I will give her credit. She knew that she was bringing forward a budget that was a joke, that she went $20 billion past the so-called rail. She put a rail up that she wasn't going to go past. Well, guess what? Carney and Trudeau said, here, you got to go past. This is what it is. So she resigned because she knew Trudeau was going to fire her. And then she runs for leadership. The leadership race of the Liberal Party was an absolute pure joke. It was all about getting Carney in. That's what they wanted. And then they played on people's fears. Oh, Trump's the evil guy. Trump is going to destroy us. Trump is doing this. Trump is doing that. Well, guess what? Trump did. He really did do a lot of bad things. Here's the problem. Had we run our economy the way we should have, we wouldn't be in this situation right now. Trump couldn't hurt us. Sure, he would screw things around a little bit and hurt some industries, but here he is destroying our automobile industry. It's done. I guarantee you within the next 3 months, unless he reverses his decisions, it's done. We've already lost 4,200 jobs in the auto sector. And to make matters worse, we paid Stellantis $15 billion so they can make batteries and then switch and start making the Jeep. I can't remember which Jeep it is, but it was a Jeep. Oh, Trump wants the manufacturing in the United States, so now they're pulling out. But did at any time when we signed the agreement to give them $15 billion, did they guarantee jobs? No. So that $15 billion is gone. That is complete mismanagement. Completely mismanagement. Are you kidding me? You signed a $15 billion deal without any guarantees? And then you got Jolie. We make good contracts. We stand up for our auto workers. We will fight for them. Well, guess what? They just quietly laid down and let it happen because guess what? They can't fight. There's nothing they can do. They signed a stupid contract. How stupid can they be? I'm fucking angry. Do you figure this out? I'm angry. Why? Because guess what? It directly affects me. Gas prices are higher than ever. And now they're playing around now here where I live. I go $1.49 one week. The next week, it's down to $1.39 or $1.31, and then creeps back up to the $1.40 something. So if you can rate it, you can get in when it's cheap, and now you got to wait. Grocery costs. Grocery costs are astronomical. I used to be able to go and buy a steak at least once or twice a month. I could buy a really nice roast beef once or twice a month. Now, to get a roast, it's gone from, I can get a small roast for my son and I for $13 or $14. It's now gone up to like $35 or $40. And that's just a little tiny roast. We're not talking about a big one. But even one that's about 4 pounds, they're up to $50. Who's got that kind of money? Now, if you're making $27.50 an hour and that, you could afford to do it. But guess what? My brother-in-law makes that kind of money. And guess what? He's having trouble at that kind of money. Just a few years ago, if I was making, which I was making $23 an hour. I didn't worry about grocery price. I always bought what was, inexpensive as much as I could. I bought that. Now, I can't. I have lowered my standard of living by 60%. I bought an RV. I'm living in a trailer park. If I was still doing what I was doing, I'd be paying another $400 a month. I'm saving that $400. But from the previous year, I'm saving another $500 on top of it. So here I am now. When I go to the grocery store, like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I didn't have any issues with grocery. I mean, yes, I had to be careful. I had to watch what I bought. But now, I have to buy things that, I like to eat, but I have to buy the cheap all the time. But guess what? The veggies now, the lettuce, the tomatoes, the cucumbers, they're all so expensive that even the stuff that's normally cheap to buy, it's not cheap anymore. And the stuff that was expensive is doubly expensive. And I'm certain there's a lot of people out there that can identify with what I'm saying. Now, all of us who are struggling, they can, buy a little less of this or a little less of that, We're all doing it. But now, many of us are doing it constantly. And then I talk to people, friends of mine that are going to food banks now. For the first time in my life, I'm considering it. Like, seriously. Like, I'm speechless. My dad worked hard. He could work and support my mother, my sister, and myself. Nowadays, a man cannot support himself and 3 other people. He needs his wife to help. And even then, pulling in a good wage, they can't do it. It's that simple. So pardon me when I get pissed off at people that voted Carney. Did you not read and listen to what was going on prior to him? Did you not listen to what was being said, how he nearly bankrupted England? Did you not listen to that? And then even after he's in, when I read and hear that he's leading in the polls. Leading in the polls! Are you fucking kidding me? Seriously. Like, come on. How? People don't listen. Well, in fairness, I think he inherited the problems of Justin Trudeau. In fairness. Okay. He did. He did inherit. But guess what? He helped contribute to the problems of Justin Trudeau. He advised Justin Trudeau. Now, since he's been in, which is now roughly 8 months, has he done anything? Even started the way? No. The programs and the gold mine and the potash mine and a few other things that he started, he didn't start them. They were put in by Justin Trudeau. And the stuff took so long to get into gear where they were actually starting to go into production was all because of the things that were put in place to stop that. We should be able to say, let's propose a pipeline and within 3 months have it approved and move on and get going. Understand, one pipeline could do 50 billion. That $50 billion would pay the interest on the deficit right now. So why not do 2 pipelines and get $100 billion? And do the LNG, liquid natural gas. We can produce it cheaper than the States can. We are the 5th leading producer of liquid natural gas. We've already got buyers for it. Germany, Japan, the Philippines, India. If we sold that to them, create 3 or 4 more plants, or even more, we could get that done within a year. If we'd already done that, Trump couldn't hurt us. We literally, with the resources that Canada has, soft lumber, nickel, gold, diamond, potash, uranium, oil, natural gas, agriculture. And that's not all of it. There's a whole lot more precious and metals and stuff that are in our ground and in abundance. In abundance. Canadians should be mad, angry. I'm sorry. Carney has not done anything. I'll tell you what Carney has done. He's got companies that he's invested in. Brookfield Management is one of the big ones. Then there's Stripe. But underneath all that umbrella, then we've got GE, Westinghouse, GE Hitachi, all them. They're all invested in a new nuclear power plant. The micro ones and large ones. And guess what? Well, those companies are going to make millions of dollars by building that. And Carney owns investments in all of them. They're doing a new gold mine here in British Columbia. Carney is invested in Pathways. Pathways is invested in that. If you look at all the different investments that Carney has, since he became Prime Minister within days, those investments shot from like 40%, 50%, 60%, 70%, up to 83 and 90%. The guy is going to make millions of dollars. But is he doing it to help Canada? No, he's doing it to help himself. Do you people don't realize that? I'm fucking pissed. I'm 63 years old next month. I'm already collecting my pension. And it's a joke. Because unbeknownst to me, when I was making pension payments for 40 years, I was working part-time jobs and weren't working full-time. So guess what? I didn't make a pension payment that should have been a little bigger. I would have had a better pension. So now I'm on that pension. Okay, I hurt my back. So now I'm on partial disability. I'm barely scraping by. Now, 5 years ago, just 5 years ago, that would have been enough for me to get by and do okay on. But now, because of what Carney's pulling off and what Trudeau did, I'm barely hanging on. Like, I'm on the verge of filing bankruptcy. And guess what? If that happens, I'm living in my car. I'm that close. That close. There's no excuse for that. This country is rich beyond belief in resources, and we've never used them because Trudeau left it in the ground and Carney wants to keep it there. But he wants to pad his own pockets. He's going to catalyze this, and he's going to have generational spending. But he wants our young people to sacrifice. Oh, he's told us all now. We need to sacrifice to switch over. And then he keeps pissing off Trump. Now, Trump's a jerk and all that, but the United States is still our best ally. 77% of our trade goes to the United States. Well, we're going to increase trade with other countries. Well, by the time we increase them, even if we double them, we'll still be 59% to the United States. That extra 25% or whatever ain't going to help us that much. The simple fact is we should be exploiting our resources and using them. And when we're going to talk about the environment, we can take 1% of those resources and put them to doing things that can help the environment, like better ways to extract the oil, better ways to do industry. At the same time, we should take a percentage of all resources and give them to the First Nations and let them become prosperous. And by the way, when we're hearing about problems on First Nations, guess what? The First Nations leadership are stealing the money from their own people, and that's why they have a lot of problems. There's millions of dollars being pumped into the First Nations. There's a whole shitload of crap going on, and nobody listens to it. Oh, to be fair. And when you listen to somebody who supports the Liberals, you ever watch them on video? They go like this. Well, I think they're okay. They just started. Like, seriously, they glass over. You can see it in their eyes. They glass over. And you listen to Jolie or Anna Sandry, they're ridiculous. They should have been fired already. And then you got the immigration manager, and she's like this. Every time you hit her with something where she gets upset, she goes, you know, a conservative member of parliament quoted, where are certain amounts of immigrations that are supposed to be shipped out? And she goes, well, I think you're terribly informed that you haven't got the right numbers. And then the minister, the conservative minister, comes back and says, well, the numbers I got are from your own website. Well, you're just not. And her face goes like this. You know, are you kidding me? Then you got Sean Smith, who's our justice minister. What a fucking joke he is. He was all set to quit until Carney said, well, you come back. So, well, all these ministers are saying that the Liberal government's a new government. Every fucking one of those ministers served in the old government, and now they're part of the new one. But it's different. Are you fucking kidding? Canada, grow up. Pay attention. Read. Investigate. Don't just sit there and listen to the CBC bullshit. Because guess what? The CBC is paid for by the Liberals. And by the way, CTV and Global, they're getting grants from the Liberals. So, of course, they're not going to bite the hand that feeds them. When they post something online or talk about it, they, even if it's something negative, they do it in very small ways. Paul Chang. Minister Paul Chang, who ran for the Liberals, he only resigned because the RCMP were going to investigate him. Why? Because he actually said this, that he wants to, or that you should turn in another member of the Conservative Party who is running for a riding, turn him into the Hong Kong embassy, Chinese embassy, because he's wanted by the Chinese government, because he's a dissident, because he stood up and said the Chinese government was wrong. I'm putting that in very basic terms. He stood up and said a lot more. So he said, if you turn him into the embassy, you'll get 150 grand. He actually said that. So guess what? You know who broke that story? It wasn't CBC or CTV or Global. It was independent media. It was Rebel News, Juno News, stuff like that. And the only reason the CBC reported on it was because they were basically forced into it. But they reported on it and then they got rid of it. They didn't stay on it. And what did Carney say? Carney said, well, it's a learning moment. I think he's learned from it. Yeah, well, the guy quit because he now understood that the RCMP were investigating it. So he quit. What did they do? They put another Chinese member in there. Why? Because the riding has a lot of Chinese people living in it. This is what the Liberal government did. And when you talk about this to people, they look at you and go, well, you know, that's politics. Really? That's politics. So you trust a government that does that. Now, Poilievre, I agree with everything he says. Now, I'm going to tell you something. There's a few things that he said that I go, well, I understand why he said it, but I think he's a bit off. But for the most part, he's right. EV mandates, okay? Here we are. We want to improve the climate, and we want to start running electric. The way the government in Canada did it is wrong. Completely wrong. But now we're doing 100% tariffs on Chinese EVs. Well, Chinese EVs are built fantastic. I've watched videos on them, hours of them, and they build BYD is every bit as good as Tesla, but they're half the cost. Oh, we're going to ban them. Well, wait a minute. Do we care about the environment or not? Canadians cannot afford the price of EVs that are built here. And guess what? The plants are all being shut down. The battery plants are being shut down because Trump. And we started shutting them down prior to even Trump causing problems. Why? They're too frickin' expensive. But we're going to shove it down Canadian throats. So here's the problem. Here's the damn problem. So now we got Chinese EVs. Well, you know what? If we want to help improve the company, there's a lot that can be sold there that people can afford. And it would lift the mandates against canola and potash and fish. Because guess what? They're nailing us on fish harvesting. I can go on and on and on for hours because I read, I pay attention. There are people out there in the independent media that are showing this. I'm angry. I'm pissed. I wish I could have Carney in front of me for 10 minutes and debate with him. Is the man smarter than me? Yes. He's got a huge university degree over me. But the one thing you can't argue is truth. And the truth is, this economy and this government has mismanaged things. And it's so bad. It's so bad that I'm angry. Up until this last couple of years, I've never said that, well, I think it sucks, blah, blah, blah. But this time, I'm angry. I mean angry. Like seriously. I'd like to punch Carney right in the mouth. I can't. I wouldn't. But I sure would like to. Same thing with Trudeau. There's been mistakes made by this government for 30 years, at least that I've seen. And not just the conservative, or the Liberals and the Conservatives and the NDP. But there's been mistakes made. But every time I've, got angry about a mistake, it's been one mistake or two. But here we are. We're making several mistakes. Tons of them. This country should be the richest country on the planet Earth. And we're not. If you go to Arabia, there are 38 million people versus our 40. Every adult gets $150,000 US to invest in property. They pay zero personal income tax. Their deficit is $260 billion. Ours is $200 trillion. All they have to offer the world is silica and oil. We have more oil in Canada than they do. We have silica here. We have potash, uranium. And yet, we're being taxed out the yahoo. We overtax businesses. We tie the hands of business that's already here. We limit the amount of oil we can produce. We have a cap on this. Why don't people fucking understand that our government is screwing us? And who's making money from this? Well, guess what? Carney. Carney's making it. Carney's getting rich. Yeah. He's going to get rich. And the book that he wrote, Values, he didn't write it. Somebody else did. He just put his name to it. He's a liar. He said he's got no conflict of interests. That all he's got is money or investments in real estate. Well, guess what? 105 interests. 105 that he's got that are conflicts of interest. Brookfield Management, Stripes. Today, those are the big ones. Okay? Now he's created an office to do structure and to build and build Canada build, right? Oh, wait a minute. Wasn't Poilievre compared to Trump But who said build, baby, build? Trump. And you all said it? Carney. Build, baby, build. Then he goes over to the United States and he kisses Trump's ass. Like, he sits there and Trump spouts off on woke culture. Spouts off. You can see Carney sitting there. Why? Because his daughter is non-binary. Did he stand up and say, wait a minute, don't you be talking like that, that's not right? No. He stood there and took it right up the rear end and just accepted it. But he's the guy to deal with Trump. I'm the guy. I know what I'm doing. I'm the guy to deal with this. Well, did we have a deal by July 24th? Nope. Did we have a deal by August 1st? Nope. Did we have a deal in October? Nope. And now there's no trade. Oh, but apparently there was some headway. But now that's on hold because Trump's pissed off. Yeah. Yes, I'm pissed. And you know what would make me happy? Is Pierre Poilievre win. And not just win, but win with a majority. And if we do that, we can straighten this mess out. But trust me, it's not going to be easy. It is going to take a year to 2 years to do the things that we need to do to start straightening out this economy. It's not going to be easy. So when we're hearing Carney say it after 8 months and nothing done, and taking credit for things that he had nothing to do with, this is the legacy that we've got. And guess what? The 51st state sounds better than what Carney has for us. It's bullshit. And I'm going to tell you another thing. Years ago, my father said this, and he was right. We should join with the United States and become an economic union. We're still Canadians. We still have our own borders. We still have our own nationality. But what we do is we link our culture and we link our economics together so that we can build prosperity between both countries. That's what should happen. Should have happened 25, 30 years ago. We share a passport, share the currency, build one. We still have our personal health care. We still have our Canada pension plan. We still do everything that we should do as Canadians, but we have an economic union where both the United States and Canada prosper. That's what should have happened and should happen now. I've had enough. I hope you guys listen and pardon my anger because it's justified in every way.